Today we cover Ben Simmons and the impact he's had across the league. So Ben Simmons now is part of the Brooklyn Nets, as many of you know. He was traded for James Harden. And for the last now 10 games, he has been sitting out due to his dealing with back soreness. And when you bring up this Nets season, you could make an argument that it's been all his fault why things have not gone well. Okay, maybe not all his fault. You do have a front office who has been questionable. You had two superstars leave, but I think Ben Simmons is a big part of that. Not only that, I think the halt of success that the 76ers did have for a year or two is because of him. And that makes me question, and I'm sure it makes a lot of people question, one, will he be the player that we thought he would be? It's looking like no. And two, is he a cancer in the locker room? Is he a franchise killer, as some might say? Is he a person that you would even want to build your franchise around? Is he even worth his contract? No, he's not. This is the answer. He's not worth his contract. He can't be. Unless he comes back and is averaging 20 and like 7 with his elite defense that he's supposed to have. No, he's not worth it. But let's break down the Ben Simmons situation for what it is. So, Ben Simmons was drafted in 2016. If you guys are not familiar, I will refresh your memory. He was the first round pick. Second went Brandon Ingram. Third went Jaylen Brown. Skip a couple. Actually, no. Jamal Murray was number 7. Even Buddy Hield was number 6. Keep going. You got Sabonis. Keep going. You have Jakob Poeltl at 9. You have some good people in this draft. Not to mention Pascal Siakam, who went 27th, DeJounte Murray. But out of all the names here, you could still make an argument that every person I've named are better than him. You could argue Jakob Poeltl is much bigger for his team because he's now in the Raptors and he's doing great. You could definitely argue more impactful than Ben Simmons. You could definitely argue that he's a better contract than Ben Simmons. I don't even think that's an argument. I think that's just a fact. He's a worse contract than every name here. But Brandon Ingram is better and a better contract than Ben Simmons. Same with Jaylen Brown. Same with Sabonis. Pascal Siakam. It's not even close. DeJounte Murray, not even close. And as you can see, he's one of the few players in this whole draft who has made an All-Star game and an All-NBA team. But then he fell off a cliff. Before they got Ben Simmons, the 76ers had a record of 10-72. You know the process. Trust the process. 10-72. First year, he's averaging 16. Second year, he's basically averaging 17. Third year, he's going back to averaging 16. And with that averaging 16, not only has his rebounds gone down, but his assists has plateaued at 8, which is still good. 8 assists is still good for a player. But this is also around the time that Jimmy Butler was with the team. Jimmy Butler has always gotten flack for being the player that is a bad teammate. It's been debunked time and time again. When Jimmy Butler actually ended up leaving the 76ers, he made a comment about Ben Simmons. And in his comment, according to The Athletic, Zach Harper, shout out to Zach Harper, Jimmy Butler's decision to leave the 76ers as a free agent reportedly stemmed in part from his assessment of Ben Simmons' mentality during their time together as teammates. Butler, quote, didn't view Simmons on par with someone like himself or Joel Embiid when it came to mental makeup. Also noting that Butler didn't like the hierarchy of the Sixers organization. Though he does say he didn't have any problem with the players, but he points out something somewhat consistent. Because this is not the first time that Ben Simmons' mentality, that his drive has been questioned. It was also questioned in college. It's one of the main things they scouted about him. They don't know if he has that drive. They doubt he did. Not to mention that he even leaving the 76ers because he got his feelings hurt after he stunk it up. It was a crucial reason why they lost. Let's be honest. The year that they played the Hawks, Ben Simmons was a crucial reason why that season ended the way it did. It's so hard to call a specific play and give it the blame for why a lot of things happened. But that play was the beginning of the end, truthfully. Because before that play, there were questions about Ben Simmons' his aggression. But I think that was the breaking point. Because since that possession, where Ben Simmons had to drive on Trae Young, and you know what drive on Trae Young I'm talking about. I probably don't have to put a video on the screen to show it. You know what play I'm talking about. When he had a little Trae Young by himself under the basket, not even really challenging you, just being there because he's a cone sometimes. You passed it up, leading to a scenario where you don't get the 2 points, leading to a scenario where the momentum changed, leading to a scenario, and now Doc Rivers is questioning whether or not you can be the PG on the championship team.
Doc, do you think Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become?
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now. So I don't know the answer to that.
He's right to question it. I'm sorry. I know he's a coach. He's not supposed to say it, but he is right to question it. You get traded because you don't want to play. You would rather take fines. You're practicing with your phone in your pocket. You go to the Nets. The Nets with KD, Kyrie, getting traded for a superstar in Harden, or at the very least a star. Because you could say that Harden was not the same Harden, but at the very least you could say he's a star. Even now he's averaging 20 and 10 on the 76ers, who look phenomenal, and MVP Joel Embiid. We didn't even talk about how Ben Simmons was holding Embiid back, because he was. You might have seen this Embiid sooner, and we seen a dominant Embiid before, but he was having to live on the perimeter because of Ben Simmons. Like, I don't even want to get nasty with it, but I could really get nasty with it. He was holding Embiid back. But let's continue. He is on the Nets, traded for Harden, KD and Kyrie, while they was getting beat by the Celtics last year, there was a whole argument of if they had Ben Simmons, they could have not only won a game, but can be competing in that series, potentially turn the whole series around. Because in these games, they were close games, single-digit games coming down to the wire. And yeah, they got swept, but they were close games. It was some of the most enjoyable games in the whole playoffs, if I'm being honest. So you add a player who's supposed to give you 17 points a game, elite defense, 8 assists, 8 boards, a third best player on the roster. You could see how that team could start turning the series around. Could win 4 straight. They're already close games without him. One missed shot away from winning some of those games. But nonetheless, the offseason happens. Everyone's excited, hyping up Ben Simmons. And I will say, I was hyping him up. This was supposed to be the Ben Simmons revenge tour. Do you want to guess what Ben Simmons is averaging on his revenge tour on the NBA? Over or under 17 points a game? Type in the comments right now. It's under. Over or under 12 points a game? It's under. Over or under 8 points a game? It's under. Do you think he's averaging his lowest career rebounds and assists ever? Yes or no? Leave a comment right now. Yes or no? Yes, he's averaging his lowest of everything right now. He is shooting 56% from the field, 0% from 3, which is kind of, you know what? Let me not even go there. He has been freaking disappointing. And so of course, Kyrie and KD went out. It's bad enough that the franchise ownership has been questionable and stopped wanting to bend to whatever they wanted out of nowhere. But now the third star that you get them, who was on a rookie max, can't perform? He's averaging single digits. The defense has fallen off. Playmaking has fallen off. Rebounds have fallen off. Why would I say? Nick Claxton has been a better addition. Not a better addition. Has been a bigger part of the team than Ben Simmons. He's way more important than Ben Simmons. Cam Thomas has been more important to the team than Ben Simmons. Not even mention Mikal Bridges, who's been traded to the team, who was averaging 25 points per game. You look at the team now. Look at all the young talent you have. All the bright spots for the team that are under the age of 25. Ben Simmons, is he a franchise killer? Maybe, but he has shown us exactly who he is. I would argue we still think he's gonna be the next LeBron, or if he's one jump shot away from being an elite threat. You haven't been paying attention. Leave a comment down below whether or not you agree. I know you probably will. If you're a fan of Ben Simmons, you can say it. This is a safe space, I would hope. Yeah, please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.